everyone, welcome to another installment of my Revisit With Me series where I listen to an album I really enjoy with you all. Today I'm going to be re-listening to Sometimes I Might Be Introvert by Little Simz. If you would like to skip right to the first song, I will have a timestamp on the screen right here to where you guys can go to. And now on to a couple quick disclaimers. Number one, this is just my personal opinion and interpretation of the songs. I'd love to hear yours down below, just keep it respectful please. Sorry for any background noise or dust particles that may occur throughout this video. I'm gonna be stopping and giving my thoughts as I go along. If you see me looking down at my phone, that's just because I'll have the lyrics pulled up for all the songs. Lastly, if I have any notes that I forget to add, check down below, I might have a pinned comment. And let's get into it. The first song is called Introvert.
Sometimes I might be introvert, there's a war inside. I hear battle cries, I don't want to be the one to doctor this. But if you can't feel pain, then you can't feel the opposite. I'm not into politics, but I know it's dark times. But if I don't take this winner's flight, that's career suicide. See my aunt laying in her bed, I see her soul rising as her body gets closer to death. Need a license to feel, sabotage what you're trying to build. Cause the feelings I keep aside, but it's time to reveal. I hate that these conversations are surface. To you I'm smiling, but really I'm hurting. One day I'm wordless, next day I'm a wordsmith. At night I wonder if my tears will dry on their own. In the demon said, motherfucker, you earn this. Realize there is a prison and nasty and conditioned as fuck. Corrupt government officials, lies and atrocities. Knocking down communities to re-up on properties. Directly affected, it does more than just bother me. I'm a black woman and I'm a proud one. But as long as we're unified, then we've already won. Introversion, feelings allowed to be well balanced. Top of the mountain is nothing without the climb. Only the strong will survive. Alone, and not lonely, as you embark on a journey, what it takes to be a woman.
Okay, so my thoughts on the song. Absolutely fantastic to listen to. I love the production. I love the places that it takes you to there, and just like the way that it switches up is really satisfying. Her rapping on here is absolutely spectacular, and just I really love the lyrics on the song as well. And just the way everything goes together is just really satisfying to listen to. And this is the perfect opener for the album, just setting us up for what is to come in terms of the subject matter, in terms of the amazing production as well, and just something that feels so triumphant, so grandiose. Love the song very, very much. And I can appreciate whenever songs are longer, but it doesn't feel like it because you're just enjoying the places that it takes you to, and that's what this one does for me. About the song on Genius, it says, delving deep into her British Nigerian roots, Simz's bold, politically awakening single elucidates her inner turmoil, ensuring she never shies away from her poetic vulnerability. Reminiscent of the album's predecessor, Gray Area, released back in March 2019. Simz continues to fight on with her battle to tackle the national government's corruption and lust for money, no matter if their profits are to the detriment of others. Along with the prejudice calamities a black woman faces in a time of crisis all around the world, when asked by ID in April 2021 what she wanted listeners to take away from the light she had shed on the social injustices emphasized in the song, she replied, "People can take away whatever they feel. I think that's the beautiful thing about art. It's open for interpretation, and whatever resonates with you the most will stick." So I kind of just like to leave it open. I've spoken my truth. Effortlessly, the song as a whole is driven by a mighty cinematic fanfare and a powerful drumline, as if it were something no short of a triumphant rally cry with an unwavering message. With unity comes strength, and with strength comes a war we must face if change is ever to be brought about. Now more than ever. Introvert is essentially me finding power with my introversion, turning inwards and finding peace within myself amongst all the chaos that's happening in the world, just trying to center myself, ground myself, and ask myself real and honest questions in order to grow. This was always going to intro the album from the moment it was made. It feels like a battle cry, a rebirth, and with the title, you wouldn't expect this to sound so huge. But I'm finding the power within my introversion to breathe new meaning into the world. Now on to track 2, Woman with Cleo Sol.
agile women, got the melanin dripping in the back, looking like fried chili pepper. He was getting bitter while she was getting better. Diamonds are forever. Know you wanna live with no one watching how you spend. Got a thing for the fine thing. We hit the zoo, once wasn't enough. Miss Ethiopia can play so jazzy. They tell them you're nothing without a woman. No, woman to woman, I just wanna see you glow. Asian honeys know you ripping for your country. Says she focusing on being an accountant. When you have beauty and brains, they find it astounding. Self-made, ain't nobody doing gold digger. Real life queen in the flesh, not the crown. Get heavy, still the bees on your head. Innovative, just like Donna Summer in the 80s. Intelligence and elegance, show 'em how. Miss Jamaica understand food for the soul. Ain't nothing without a woman, no. Woman to woman, I just wanna see you glow. They feel you so. You're so damn fine. She a gonna girl, calm with it, never let the marijuana fail. One way, she ain't coming back, nah. All I see is black stars and I friggin' love it. Done being in the shadow, going public, yeah, yeah. All we know is looking clueless, all they know is stairs there. Ain't nothing without a woman, no. Woman to woman, I just wanna see you glow.
Sometimes, I look around and how you don't get good feelings about a little bit of pain, the emptiness that you can sometimes feel on the other side. And, it just reminds me to call you, but then you never pick up the phone.
Okay, so my thoughts on this. Excellent track overall, just such an enjoyable listen. Just the way that she flows over the track is so effortless and just something that is really pleasant to listen to. I love the lyrics of the track, something that is really empowering to listen to, and it's definitely true. The world would be nothing without women. There's just so much that we have contributed, and we just really keep things going. And so this is something that really makes me happy to listen to. I really appreciate Cleo Sol's contribution to the track as well. The production on here is great and a cherry on top of a perfect song. About the song on Genius, it says, Woman, the second single from Little Simz' sophomore album, Sometimes I Might Be Introvert, is a track in homage to the women that inspire Simz on the daily. Woven into the showers of compliments and praise are several allusions to largely populated areas of people of color, including many countries throughout Africa, as well as Jamaica, India, and Brooklyn, New York. In keeping with Simz' writing, each line offers a deeper perspective into the ways that women have aided in uplifting certain cultures, industries, and influences. Incorporating political innuendos into her work is nothing new for Simz. In fact, she commented on how natural her writing process is during a March 2019 interview with DJ Magazine. Everything I do happens on the spot. I was doing this when I was 15/16, so tapping into these subjects and those places and going back to those days was not difficult. Sometimes you've just got to put yourself back in that place mentally and see what happens. As much as I'm a person that is aware of what's happening in the world, I can still very much be in my own bubble, where I shut off completely from what's happening, because I'm someone that really takes things on and it actually affects me. So sometimes I have to make the decision to remove myself. I know I have a platform and I know I need to touch on things that I believe need to be heard. This was made to uplift and celebrate women. To my peers, my family, my friends, close women in my life, as well as women all over the world, I want them to know I've got their back. Linking up with Cleo is always fun. We have such great musical chemistry, and I can't imagine anyone else bringing what she did to the song. Her voice is beautiful, but I think it's her spirit and her intention that comes through when she sings. A May 2021 Pitchfork article quotes Little Simz saying, "I love it when I see women doing their thing and looking flawless. I'm here for that. It's empowering, it's inspiring. I wanted to say thank you, and I wanted to celebrate them." Now to track 3, Two Worlds Apart.
Just blow that yaya on our shatas. Living in the present, still my future looking sweet. Please let go of all your troubles whenever you're here with me. Patience, 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 patience. Heart and true your settings, do not need an invitation. And I'm amazing. Bougie, 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 bougie. I got higher standards, don't waste time trying to pursue me. Tanisha held you down, but you were Lucy. Tell me, baby, why'd you want to lose me? It's truly a movie covered with silver linings. It took time just to learn about timing. What it cost to be this damn hot with it. Who knew love would be so damn toxic? I'm intoxicated. Got my groove on, meditating too, creating, making innovative moves. Never had a penny now on artists splashing that tour money.
Okay, so my thoughts on this song, something that I quite love listening to. Like, I really like the way that it started off, and it's just something that feels really peaceful, but something that's still really intriguing at the same time. So I really love the production and the singing and just the vibe that the song sets immediately. And then, of course, her performance over this is absolutely fantastic. I really love the way that she switches her flow. I think that the lyrics are decent here as well. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Really nice track. About the song on Genius, it says, firstly, I love the sample. It's The Agony and the Ecstasy by Smokey Robinson, and Flo's chopped it up really cool. This is my moment to flex. You have the opener followed by a nice smoother vibe, but this is like, hey, you're listening to a rap album. Whilst he was making the album, I was just listening to all these legends and all these records that they had made, and they had made them in like their 20s, and it's like you hear them and you think they must be in their 40s. But they were young and they made these classic songs and albums. And it kind of just blew my mind, like, wow, you don't really hear that no more. So I just felt some sort of calling to bring myself to that vibe and make it modern, but still feel old school and really hip hop. Because I feel like with the bounce on it, you can easily be so chill, but you can also mosh. I really appreciate whenever samples are tastefully done and they add to the record, and that's exactly what you did here. You really do love to see it. Now to track 4, I Love You, I Hate You.
Give my life for this. If the bullet was the beat, I would probably die for this. Blood, tears, how it stains, can't read it with ease. Hard to confront the truth of what you see in the mirror. Some people you inspire and others you trigger. All the pressure take me to new heights, so be my demise. The people looking up to me doing everything right, but who am I to tell anyone how to live their life? Yeah, maybe because you're in my DNA, that's why. You made the promise to God to be there for your kids. My ego won't fully allow me to say that I miss you. The day will come when you grow up, find all the answers to your sins. Know what kind of external family shit I put your plate. Too much unsaid, now the silence giving me headache. Even though I'm angry, don't wanna be disrespectful. Never thought my parent would give me my first heartbreak. Should have been the person there to hold me on my dark days. Since you a sperm donor or a dad to me, and still on this mission you live and learn. How do you humanize your hero? Half-hearted stories can't let your guard down. They don't meet your unrealistic standards. Sometimes I'm unbalanced and I think, wrong, why am I losing my steps? He was just once a boy, often I seem to forget. You know what was destroyed, but you don't know what was left. Is you missing the point? Are you just hearing me vent? I'll keep you in my prayers, cause life is short as we know. Every mistake you make should contribute to your growth. Not forgiven for you, man, I'm forgiven for me.
Okay, so my thoughts on the song, I really appreciate how introspective that it is and just talking about family dynamics and how challenging that can be to deal with. I think that the lyrics on the song are well done. I appreciate her flow over everything and just how invested she is the entire time. And I really like the production on the song as well. About the song in Genius, it says, this wasn't the easiest song for me to write, but I'm super proud that I did. It's an opportunity for me to lay bare my feelings on how that family situation affected me growing up and where I'm at now. At peace with it and moving on. At first I was fighting it because I didn't want to give my dad the stage, but the more I thought, it's not about him. It's about me and my feelings about it. I'm just approaching it from a more emotionally mature angle. Had I written this song 2 or 3 years ago, my approach would not have been the same. I'm probably in a good space in my life to talk about this, and if we ever talk, I'm in a good space to hear him out. Now to track 5, Little Q Part 1, Interlude.
Spoken a while, and it seems like I only come when I need something. And I ain't angry, the cards you dealt me, and let me feel like it's all worth it. Till then, strengthen me when I feel weak, and forgive me for my iniquities. Q.
Okay, so my thoughts on this. I really like the music on here and how this track was approached. It was nice to listen to there. Very short, but still interesting to listen to. I can appreciate it for what it is. About the song on Genius, it says, Little Q is my cousin, Quotas, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, on my dad's side. We grew up together, but then there was a stage where we didn't really talk for some years. No bad blood, just doing different things. So when we reconnected, we had a real heart-to-heart. And I heard about all he'd been through. It made me feel like, damn, this is a blood relative and he almost lost his life. I thank God he didn't, but I thought of others like him. And I felt it was important that his story was heard and shared. So I'm speaking from his perspective. So that's definitely some important information about the track there and something that will make me see it differently in the future. And now into track 6, Little Q Part 2.
Side of that river Thames, I had dreams of many things as a young. It was 14 when the streets offered tough loving. Older brother went to jail, daddy went around. PTSD from the roads, trouble was everywhere that I looked. There ain't no easy way out, drowning eternally when you're stuck in the ocean of doubt. Live being angry my whole life like it's part of my DNA. We take that same anger and turn it into someone else's pain. The cycle still remains. Encounter with death, open when a knife was in my chest. Not the mental scars, the physical's all you see. I could have been the reflection that he hated, the part of him he wishes God didn't waste time creating. Imagine being in a hospital wired up to the machine. They told me I had been in the coma for 2 weeks, but my body reminded me I'm human. When you're so close to the heavens, God shows you who's there. Nowhere to be seen are the people who say they care. Cause that gave me a second chance and many never see it. Cute, we eat from a tree full of forbidden fruit. We all know real triggers live in the suit.
Okay, so my thoughts on the song. Her storytelling here is top tier, and just I really appreciate the way that she was able to approach it. Something that is very raw and real and stays with you, and I can appreciate it on that aspect as well. I love the music on here and just the way that the song was put together overall. Amazing track. About the song on Genius, it says, I grew up in North London and Little Q was raised in South. And as much as we both grew up in ends, his experience was obviously different to mine. Being a product of an environment or system that isn't really for you, it's tough trying to navigate that. I wrote Little Q Part 2 about my cousins from his perspective of what had happened in his life. I thought his story was important and thought it should be hard. There's so many young black boys in London that have his story, and thank God my cousin didn't lose his life. But unfortunately, not everyone's lucky. When these young people lose their lives, it affects their family and friends. But the world goes on and they become another number, another statistic, and nobody cares. I just felt that there should be awareness on it, and I just wanted to tell his story. And now onto track 7, Gems Interlude.
Take your time. Inhale, exhale. Do you want 15 years or 15 minutes? 1 foot out of line and you'll be ridiculed. I'm trying to live up to the expectations. I'm trying to be the best version of myself. I'm trying to be the greatest version of myself. I can be stuck in my ways, yes. Honestly, all the time I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Your light will shine in the darkest hour. They won't silence you, but they'll try to.
Okay, so my thoughts on the song. The production on it here is immaculate. I love all the chord progressions and how cinematic it feels. It's just really something to listen to in terms of the production. And then I really like the lyrics over top of that as well. Something that doesn't overstay its welcome, which I can also appreciate. About the song in Genius, it says, this is another turning point. Reminding myself to take time, breathe, you're human. Give what you can give, but don't burn out for anyone. Put yourself first. Just little gems that everyone needs to hear once in a while. Now to track 8, Speed.
Niggas wanna put me in a box. I could buy your life and no excuses if I had a penny for all the rappers that I influence. Figured I'd just leave it niggas to it, but watch how you step. Promise you don't wanna see me lose it. Niggas know I got the shit unlocked. Don't you know you're dealing with a boss? Think I do just what I please. I'm a ready and legend, you should humble your speech. Motherfuckers monitoring my speed, but I'm singing. Influential as fuck, I shouldn't keep my skin. All the ink in my pen is what led me to win. Give a fuck by your style or the latest of trends. If you knew what it took just to get
Okay, so my thoughts on this song. I really like the way that she approached it, very confident, very sure of herself, so it was really enjoyable to listen to on that aspect. I like the production as well. About the song on Genius, it says, this track sends another reminder. This game is a marathon, not a sprint. So pace yourself. I know where I'm headed and I'm taking my time with little breaks here and there. Now I know when to really hit the gas and also when to come off a bit. And now to track 9, Standing Ovation.
Why the desperate need for an applause? I'll wait. She to go here when it's safe to assume. Everybody panic when I step in the room. Niggas is rapping about pieces. People are really dying, is that what's needed? Tell me please, why the desperate need to be remembered? Everybody knowing what you've done. People change when it's about personal gain. I stay in my lane cause I'm not done with these checks. Know what has occurred and do not aimlessly guess. It's a gift and a curse to be this pretty and blessed. So blessed. Used to plug that 20-pound mic into the back of the mat. Always knew this was my calling, but I'm here by choice. Delirious, it's hard to function on this winter's time. Scripts to read, my nigga. Double life, living overseas, my nigga. Should be one day, nothing's more important than families where the love stays. Understand it comes with the process. I follow my intuition cause it knows best. Know my people wanna see me win, never lay down. Standing ovation for the one who's wearing a crown. Don't allow anyone to undermine your fate. High beams and lucid dreams. Take my energy, come to find there's nothing left of me. And for being broke as fuck and trying to find identity. I ain't find the things and isolating memories. Think I need a standing ovation. Over 10 years in the game, I'm impatient. Thought I was bluffing, didn't see it coming. Hold up, think this is cold, yeah, it seen nothing. Get back and get to busting. Standing up to you, I make the scene lie down. I got another 20 in the shit I'm cemented. Take over businesses, tell the kids start investing. From the hieroglyphics to the hood lyricists, the priests, the imams, the good books you live with, the elder sisters, the tribal mantras, the jazz players, holistic doctors, the protectors and the rulers, the kids of the future, the honest black leaders, the divine healers, the everyday low-paid believers, came down to teach us. Movies in the crib, but I'm sitting nice. Everybody claim to be boss, but I'm a different kind.
Okay, so my thoughts on this song, she really went off. Again, I love the confidence on this song, and you really do love to see it. It's something that is just so gratifying to listen to. I love her flow on the track and just what she does all over there. I think the lyrics are great too. The production perfectly matches, and I just really like the way that the track progresses as well. Definitely one of the best songs on the album for sure. Love the song very, very much. About the song on Genius, it says, I take some time to reflect here, like wow, you're still here and still going. It's been a slow burn, but you can afford to give yourself a pat on the back. But as well as being in the limelight, let's also acknowledge the people on the ground doing real amazing work. Our key workers, our healers, teachers, cleaners. If you go to a toilet and it's dirty, people go in from 9 to 5 and make sure that that shit is spotless for you. So let's also say thank you. Now on to track 10, I See You.
Would you take me as I am? Correct me when I'm wrong, humble me, put me in my place. Still be my biggest fan if I cancel all my dates. If it's any reassurance, just know I will do the same. Oh, I like my time alone, but still don't wanna be lonely. Time flies, can't tell you how much we spend, cause feeling never ends. Never thought you'd be so special in my life. I'm planning for my future, I've been keeping you in mind. You know where you come from, you ain't forgotten. It's an honor to witness on what you've lost. Communication isn't always verbal, but energy transferred is universal. Intelligence that's matched with beauty in all its facets. Anyone that's in our presence sees the clear attraction. My God, been looking divine lately, hydrated, melanated. Ain't it just the best owning it, knowing you've elevated.
Okay, so my thoughts on the song, a really sweet song that I appreciated listening to. I like how everything came together in terms of like the singing, and her performance over the song was great. I really like the instrumentation and production on the track, and it's such an interesting contrast to the track before, something that's slower, that's smoother, and I can appreciate this for what it is. About the song on Genius, it says, this is a really beautiful and poetic song on love. Sometimes as artists we tend to draw from traumatic times for great work. We're hurt or in pain. But it was nice for me to be able to draw from a place of real joy in my life for this song, even where it sits on the album, right in the center, the heart. And now to track 11, the rapper that came to tea, Interlude.
Oh, hello. Alrighty. please. Sid, would you like a cup of tea? There you go. Now, we'll be a full house today. However, the extroverts like to be entertained, and I was told you don't talk much. Question, if I may. What's a girl like you want in a place like this? Those that last have given up? Do you have the willingness to do the same? Food for thought, dear. The bravest of hearts can sometimes be the loneliest of souls. You are the type to run or dance in the rain. Your mind is the most powerful tool. Your destiny awaits.
Okay, so my thoughts on this. Good track overall. Production is very lush, which I can appreciate, and I just like how the track was approached in general. In terms of the end, that last part I feel like kind of repeated a little bit too much. It might have dragged on a tad. About the song on Genius, it says, the title is a play on Judith Kerr's children's book, The Tiger Who Came to Tea. And this is about me better understanding my introversion. I'm just posing questions to myself. I might not necessarily have answers for them. I think it's good to throw them out there and get the brain working a bit. And now into track 12, Rollin Stone.
I was in Sao Paulo, eating palm heart, and I couldn't believe my surroundings. No time for the first trap, nigga, I'm quite shy, drink from a different fountain. Might be a brat for a bit, fuck your blunt, man, I want my spliffs. Want my suit tailored by Gucci, give me my checks and give me my plaques. Want breakdowns and I want my stats, conto. Talk about peas when I talk about wage, but can you do the job though? Doula sport, flow and archery, don't get hit with the crossbow. Calling shots like a calling favors, facts. My niggas got me if I ever need that. Might demonstrate frustration, trying to keep cool, but I'm losing patience. No cap, we hate snakes and we hate rats. You can have opinions, just don't mislead the youth in your raps.
Only handle business, Papa was a Rolling Stone. Fucking up the stone, let's say it's pizza, you can't get in Italy. I got stories regarding your bitch, I won't disclose. You can't diss me 3 times, pull up behind, never see her. Niggas follow my step, read about me like I'm Eli. Let me be on, taking time at home, I smoke, go through your time now. Bad bitch, say the C, wanna know what's underneath. Range black, just to match the color of my skin. And what's crazy, this year tougher with the ink. The people miss me, they like, where the fuck you been? Can't believe it's in the here, that's had you listening. Fuck that bitch for now, you didn't know she had a twin. You can get the smoke, make the gas, this kind problem. You might just find out, real soon, go through your time now. Rolling Stone.
Okay, so my thoughts on the song. I like it. It's interesting to listen to, especially in terms of her flow. Good lyrics on the track generally. I like the production on here as well. About the song on Genius, it says, this cut somewhat reminds me of Little Simz, spitting with rapidness and being witty. And I'm also finding new ways to use my voice on the second half here, letting my evil twin have her time. And now into track 13, Protect My Energy. Okay, so my thoughts on this track. A very fascinating listen in terms of the production. That was definitely something that I was really drawn to. And then, of course, I like how she flows over top of the track and her approach there. I like the lyrics as well and just the introspection there. And so it's something that's really refreshing to listen to, in my opinion. About the song on Genius, it says, this is one of the songs I'm really looking forward to performing live. It's a stepper and it got me really wanting to sing, to be honest. I very much enjoy being around good company, but these days I enjoy my personal space and I want to protect that. And now into track 14, Never Make Promises, Interlude.
Never make promises, nothing make promises. We fight, we fall. Never make promises, nothing make promises. Never make promises, never make promises.
Okay, so my thoughts on the song. Another nice interlude, doesn't run on too long. I can appreciate it for what it is. About the song on Genius, it says, this one is self-explanatory. Nothing is promised at all. It's a short intermission to lead to the next one, but at one point it was nearly the album intro. And now to track 15, Point and Kill with Obongjayar. Hopefully I am pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, please correct me down below in the comments. Okay, so my thoughts on the song. It's riveting to listen to in terms of like the production, which I thought had a nice groove to it. I really appreciated that, and like the instrumentation and everything on this track. I thought both of them worked very well together. I like the lyrics, and just a really enjoyable track to listen to. About the song on Genius, it says, this is a big vibe. It feels very much like Nigeria to me, and Obongjayar is one of my favorites at the moment. We recorded this in my living room on a whim, and I'm very, very grateful that he graced us on. The title comes from a phrase used in Nigeria to pick out fish at the market or a store. You point, they kill, but also metaphorically whatever I want. I'm going to get it in the same way essentially. During a now deleted Instagram story Q&A in July 2021, Simz said that Point and Kill was her favorite track on the album, adding, and LA Flow made the beat quick on that one. We left it for a while. I came back to London, then Obongjayar pulled up on me and he put down his vocal in my living room. Pure vibes. Point and Kill marks the first collaboration between Little Simz and Obongjayar. And now into track 16, Fear No Man. Okay, so my thoughts on this song. It was a cool track overall. I really thought that the instrumentation and production on here was very intriguing to listen to. I love how she approached the track as well. About the song on Genius, it says, this track continues the same vibe. Even more so, it declares, I'm here, I'm unapologetically me, and I fear no one here. I'm not shook of anyone in this rap game. Now into track 17, The Garden Interlude.
You see, Simbi, your decisions don't just affect you. Your first love often blinds you. How many do you believe have felt your presence when needed the most? Patience is a virtue. Trust your intuition, but get out of your head. Asking your emotions is a weakness. Humble pie is often the hardest to swallow. Feelings of being misunderstood, hard to fathom. Water your seeds. Give your garden the love it needs.
Okay, so my thoughts on the song. Another beautiful interlude with very lush production, which I definitely do appreciate, and I love the approach to the song once again. About the song on Genius, it says, this track is just amazing musically. It's about nurturing the seeds you plant. Nurture those relationships and everything around you that's holding you down. And now into track 18, How Did You Get Here?
invested. I sit and read my old lyric books like damn, it must have been destined. Back when it was serious, handing mixtapes out in my school. All I had was my brain and my hunger, had to use that as tools. Slacking in my schoolwork, didn't care much. Trust me, this music thing is my prophecy. Didn't need to convince them, cause they saw it all from just watching me. Got a strong head on my shoulders and being good-hearted don't cost it all. Your runs on foot, trekking through the rain, made me into what I became. Back then we never had a penny, but it didn't matter to us because our soul was nourished. Music videos and Chuck's garden with no budget. All the talent we had to harvest, we didn't always see eye to eye, but they always had my back regardless. Still I never aborted the mission. All that I've taken is all God has given. Want me to follow my own intuition, go with the pace I set for myself. Couldn't apply this, it was just written. Many dreams I'm sitting on. Times I thought that my prayers weren't getting answered, but boy was I wrong. All it took was me knowing I'm meant to be here. It's where I belong, it's where I belong, yeah. Sometimes I forget, but I have to think back and remind myself of the journey. I'm the version of me I always imagined when I was younger. All the albums I studied, learned about flow and cadence. Wasn't much of an academic or road invested or sporty. Made the most of all I was blessed with the tools of my inventory. If you stand where we're standing, you might understand the perspective. All decisions we made is based on our circumstance. We hope to surpass it. Took most of our lifetime to wake up, realize that the world is ours. Us and them, but we worlds apart. Nothing in life comes easy, and you work twice as hard cause you black. Used to think mom exaggerated till the world showed me it's fact. Everything you want is out there waiting for you to take it. Have faith in your dreams and never stop chasing, and you'll make it. Trust. All it was perseverance. Some get it, some don't. Didn't take you long to get it. Didn't sell your soul, but you held on. Always, here we are. It's a story of never ending. Didn't take you long to tell your kids to play this. How did you believe you would get it? Simz.
Okay, so my thoughts on this track. Impeccable overall. I really love her flow on here, just like the way that she switches it up, and so that's always really fascinating to listen to there. And then I appreciate her storytelling on this track. I like the lyrics on here as well, talking about having to work twice as hard because you're black, which is definitely true in this world, and also just talking about her journey, and it's kind of like inspirational in a sense because she's saying if you want to achieve something, it's out there waiting for you to get it. You just have to work hard and believe in yourself. And so I really appreciate it on that aspect. I think that she's a great storyteller, great songwriter as well, I wanted to add. And I love the background singers on here. I love the production on here too. Easily one of the best songs on the album. Just the way that it flows is truly immaculate, world class. What a stunning song overall. About the song on Genius, it says, I want everyone to know how I got here from the jump. School days to my rap group, Space Age. We were just figuring it out, being persistent. I cry whilst recording the song. It all hit me like I'm actually recording my 4th album. Sometimes I sit and I wonder if this is all really true. And now into the 19th and final track, Misunderstood.
Up and down for days, laying in my misery, hoping I'll be saved. Living in isolation, attention I never crave. I got Little Simz from around the way. She wanted the credibility, never cared for fame. Looking back, was it all a waste of handshakes and how we used? Secretly hoping I'm done with the pen. No receipts, can't return the gift I was sent. I've been loving you freely. When you was broke, handing out them CDs. Told you give it up and you never believe me. Feelings equals weakness and that's why you bury yours. Lying hard, don't you feel these blessings in your pores? Little misleading, misguided, misunderstood, misjudged. Strong women bounce back, insecure bags. Know what's in my DNA to only be great. I write words for a living and still can't communicate. Life's too short and I've seen too many tears. Can't believe the space I'm in with my older sister. I left the global empire and now she thinks I've started. Just needed to explore shit on my own. When it comes to family, see now you testing me. Just wanted you to call me saying, hey sis, how's your day been? You dating? Oh, he fucked up, yo, I had the same thing. It's hard mixing family and business. Really wanted it to work and God is my witness.
Okay, so my thoughts on this song. Great track overall. again, another one that is more introspective on her life, just talking about family and how tough it can be to deal with them sometimes, especially in business and all that. I like how she navigated this track once again. Really love the production on here, and I thought that the lyrics were great as well, especially her talking about that she writes words for a living, yet she still can't communicate. And so I just really do like this track. I can appreciate listening to it. About the song on Genius, it says, "This is the perfect closer. I could have ended on the last track easily, but I don't know. It's kind of like doing 99 reps. You've done 99, that's amazing, but you can do one more to just make it 100, you can." And for me, it was like, I'm going to get this one in here. And now I wanted to share my favorite songs on the album with you. So I'm going to say Introvert, Woman with Cleo Sol. I remember really liking Little Q Part 2, Standing Ovation, definitely. And then I'm going to have How Did You Get Here. Those are going to be my overall favorite songs in the album. Of course, as I listen more, my opinions can change. This is something that has happened to me before. And now I wanted to share my overall thoughts on this album. So I think that this is an amazing album overall. This was my favorite album of 2021. I had heard some albums I really liked, but I was still waiting for my album of the year. I made a community post on my channel and I asked you guys what albums I should check out before the year ends, and someone recommended this one to me, and I heard a few good things about it, and I was like, I should definitely check it out, and my mind was just blown. It was the thing that I was absolutely waiting for, and just undeniable that it was going to be my album of the year. So I love a lot of different things about this album. Her performances in all these songs is just something that is fascinating to listen to. Really talented there. I love her flows, how she switches it up, how she just approaches the songs in general is something that I'm always really intrigued to listen to there. And then I think that she is a great songwriter again, and shout out to the other songwriters on this album. Definitely did what had to be done there. And she's also a great storyteller as well. I mean, that's truly a gift to be able to hear someone else's story and put it into a song that is just so thought-provoking and something that really stays with you, and that just really shows her talent as a songwriter and a storyteller. And so I can really appreciate that, and just her delivery across all the tracks is something that is to be noted and something special. I can appreciate how introspective this album is, with her talking about being an introvert and going into that, and then talking about family and discussing that and other topics on this album. I think that she does it super well, and I think that the subject matter on this album is great. The production on this album is absolutely mind-blowing. When it wants to be, it can be something that is triumphant and something that is really going to stop you in your tracks, but it can also be lush and beautiful and just a gorgeous production as well, and just makes it even that much more of a joy to listen to. And I just always really appreciate when you listen to an album and you can tell how much work they put into the production alone, and just so many intricacies in terms of the production alone. That is just something that I absolutely love. In my opinion, this has the best production of any album released in 2021, and it's not even close. Like, the production on here is just simply immaculate. I think that the instrumentation on this album is phenomenal as well. I can appreciate the samples that were incorporated, and I also really love the features. Those were tastefully done, and they all definitely executed it to the highest level, which is something that I'm looking for in the future as well. And I just think as a package, this album is something that is so thought-provoking to listen to. It is very interesting and captivating, and something that can be so hard-hitting, especially in songs like How Did You Get Here, and also like Standing Ovation, and then you also have Little Q Part 2 with the storytelling. So it can be hard-hitting in so many different ways, whether that's the subject matter or the production or both on the tracks. But this album is just something that blew my mind, and it forces me to be engulfed in it in the absolute best way, and I'm just really fascinated all the way throughout this entire album. I would not have minded if this album would have ended off with a song like How Did You Get Here or Standing Ovation, because those songs are so hard-hitting in different ways. And How Do You Get Here, she's talking about how she came up and all that, which is really fascinating. And then Standing Ovation, confident, and it's more hard-hitting with the production. So those kind of like hit hard more so in different ways, and I think that that would have been really fitting to close the album with. I ultimately get why she chose to end with Misunderstood, but that's definitely a note that I wanted to add, because that was something I was thinking like in the back of my mind, but I was like, let me listen to it all the way through again just to confirm, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. But it's something that's not that big of a deal at all necessarily. And I have been wanting to listen to this album for a bit, but I was like, no, I really should do it for a video and check it out again. And I'm glad that I got to, because it's like I fell in love with it all over again. Some albums, you know, you take a break from them because there's so much other stuff out there, and then you come back to them and then you just remember remember why you appreciated it and enjoyed it so much. And just, I really love what she did with this album overall. I think that the album cover is great and just something that is really worth listening to. If you have not listened to this already, you are severely missing out. Definitely listen to it. But that's going to be it for my thoughts on the album. I would love to know what you guys are thinking down below in the comments. What are your favorite songs? What are your memories with the album? Any information that is important to add to the conversation, leave it down below in the comments because I'd love to read them. But that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, give it a like down below. It really helps me out in the algorithm. I very much appreciate it. You can subscribe right down below to see more videos like this. If you hit the bell, you get notifications to your phone when I post so you not miss when new videos come out. First link down below in the description will be my latest second channel video. I finally was able to get back on there and I shared my thoughts on a bunch of different topics. So Taylor Swift just announced a new album, so I kind of like share my thoughts there. Mariah Carey is doing another live performance that I discussed, and I also did some reactions to music videos for like Flow and also Lord, and I reacted to the new Rick's Orange County song, and then I also did my recap for the past month as well. So definitely go check that out if you're interested. Again, it'll be the first link down below in the description. I'm also going to have my Twitter, my Instagram, my Spotify if you'd like to follow me, as well as a link to stream this album if you're interested, and lastly, links to educate you on important situations. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.